Well, how would you like to take a $300 investment and get $128,000 back in 21 days so that you could quit your job and stay home with your wife and your 4 kids? That's what this fella did, and he's happier than a clam. You should see him when you see this video. Man, he's so inspiring too about how he did it, how many times he failed ahead of time, and there was no, trick to doing any of this stuff. He doesn't feel special or that talented or smart or anything. He just did a lot of research and tried it. He was saying that the only way to get things done is that your desire to get it done is more pressure on you than, than the pressure you have of being lazy or afraid to do anything. And that's what seems to motivate him. And I could understand it. That's why, if you're doing something you really want to do, like you really want to play football, and so you're going to get out there like Rudy in that movie, wanted to play no matter what it was. He didn't have the talent, skills, or whatever, but his desire overcame all that. And that's why I think is when you're looking for projects to do, you got to find something like that, because we all have this lack of self-respect in ourselves, for doing things. Oh, I can't do that because. But and if there's something you think is important, you're solving a problem for other people, you're contributing to other people's lives some way. You think, boy, I got to get this out before life is over, and that gives you the motivation to try. And all the other stuff you could learn yourself. Like, you watch this video. He says, God, he didn't hire anybody. The video on his crowdfunding site to raise money, he did it all himself. It takes no man. He didn't hire publicity people or marketing people or all that stuff. It's all sort of homemade. And no fat cat gurus that helped him. It was just from the heart, but it didn't come easy. He said this idea he was working on for a while, and he'd look it in the drawer and he'd put it down and then just start doing something. And see, what's interesting now is not only can you go out there and raise money without having any money, but there's also help. And there's so much free help to help you overcome any deficiency that you have without spending money on it too. You don't have to do that. So watch how he did it. Well, Bernhard Hemker, right? But more importantly, it's the JapaneseTheGame.com. And we're trying to be quiet because you have 4 kids upstairs still sleeping, and your wife is texting you saying, "Now don't talk so loud," right?
Yeah, I don't know how many of them are still sleeping. But...
so you're a guy, really, you just quit your job so you can stay at home with these 4 kids, soon to be 5, because of all the money you made on Kickstarter. You went out and with your game a couple months back looking for $6,000 or $5,700 and got $128,000, huh?
Yeah. I knew how much I'd need to make a marketable version of the game, and if I had only raised $5,700, I'd have had probably $0 profit. Even at $128,000 raised, I didn't have very much profit off of that, because the point was to really launch it, and it was a heck of a launch. The game is in 45 countries worldwide now.
Wow. Well, now what more interesting about that, and you have a new version out right now on Kickstarter, right? So if people are interested, they go to JapaneseTheGame.com, and the fun thing is to see your video, because your videos are short. Under 60 seconds, or like my 1-minute commercials I used to do all the time, and they work for you, right? And they really work.
Yeah, they do. You got to give somebody enough that they know what's going on.
Yeah.
You don't want to leave them disoriented at all, because that turns people off the idea. But you give them enough that you can give them a chance to decide if they want to learn more.
Yeah.
And so that's just the taste that they need of whatever it is you're doing.
You show up at the door and show a little shoulder, right, and get them in the door, right?
So to speak, yes.
Yeah. But more importantly, you didn't hire hotshot consultants or media gurus or anything like this to do this. You just figured out all this stuff yourself, so didn't.
I did have a friend who's my friend Joshua Wagner. He helped me with the lighting. in my
Ah, a
studio.
lighting guy. Lighting's important. That's why I used to shoot outside a lot because I don't have to worry about lighting.
But you
Lighting.
know, that was a favor as a friend, and so that you know. But no, I mean, my cash outlay for the entire Kickstarter was under $300. That
Wow.
includes all of the prototyping for my product, my
Really?
$150 camera, you know, and all of the sending things to people that I had to do. But yeah, I mean, that's money that I was able to come up with
Right.
over the course of a few months, spending, you know, 100 something bucks max at a time.
Right. So in other words, for $300, you got $180,000 back, right?
128,000.
I mean,
180 would be
128,000.
great. Hopefully,
Well, on
that'll
this
happen
one, I
though.
mean, you're way up there. You're almost on over 20. You're 21,000 already on your new one. So this is
Yep.
probably the best investment you could ever make in your life. There's no stockbroker that come and tell you this, right?
It's definitely been an amazing return, but you know, there's also years of work that went
Yeah.
into this, but really it all sourced from one idea, you know, and I'm getting the idea out there and people want it. Some of it has to do with the way I'm saying things, but at the core, it's what I'm saying. People really want their problem solved, whatever it is. And
So,
anybody
yeah.
who studies Japanese knows that the problem is the grammar. So I made a game that teaches Japanese
The
grammar, and
grammar.
now the problem's getting solved.
Wow. So what do you think that stops people from, going and using crowdfunding or doing their own thing like this and getting rid of that job they don't want to go to?
Sometimes it's a lack of information. Sometimes it's a
Yeah.
lack of self-respect, I think.
Ah,
You know, someone who's down on themselves isn't as willing to give something a try.
I
So
see.
if you have if you have something that you want uh, more than if you want something so that you're wanting it is more powerful than whatever's holding you back, you're gonna
That's
charge
right.
forward.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
You're right. I mean, I remember younger, I was so afraid of failure, I think, is what stopped me so many times. Yeah. That I had to push myself, and like even making cold calls, I'd say, what's going to happen if I call this guy? He's arm going to come over the phone and kill me or something like that?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you know, it just took a few words of encouragement and a little bit of education for me to find out that Kickstarter was the right place for me. I had a dinner party where one of my friends, James Booth, came over, and he and a few other friends and I played my prototype. And he
Uh-huh.
said, "You have to put this on Kickstarter." And I was like, "Okay, I'll figure it out." And so I was about to click the launch button on Kickstarter about a month later, and then I realized like I've never done this before, so I started reading about
Ah.
Kickstarter and decided to take 3 months off of launching it
Mm-hmm.
to just educate myself and
Right.
learn everything I could. So I devoured information about Kickstarter for 3 months. On my commute to work, I would listen to a podcast about
Ah.
Kickstarter called Funding the Dream on Kickstarter by Richard Bliss.
Uh-huh.
And I read the Kickstarter lessons by Jamie Stegmaier
Uh-huh.
and some articles by James Matthey.
Mm-hmm.
So I just streamed Kickstarter information in my head until I felt like I knew what I was doing. Put together a great project page, had all my friends look at it, tell me what I was doing wrong. And that's part of it. You know, like you were saying with the cold calls, you don't want a negative consequence, right?
Yeah.
But if you can just say, if I get enough negative consequences, I'll actually know what I'm doing and treat it like a good thing, then you win.
But so in other words, you're saying that all the information you needed for success was out there. You just had to go get it,
Yep.
digest it a little bit, and
Yep.
put it into action, and have the $300 for the, doing the prototype or whatever it is, and just give it a roll. And what do you think would have happened if you failed?
I did fail.
I know. Oh, you did, you said?
Well, I failed a lot of times.
I know. Okay. So,
Yeah,
if this,
I tried to
yeah,
make this game 7 years ago, and
I
I couldn't
see.
put it together. And so I tabled it for a while, and I came back to it, and I
Ah,
kept coming back to it. You know, this could be this could still be in a drawer somewhere.
I see. So it's
You know,
Thomas Edison and his, what does he say, like 10,000 light bulbs that didn't work.
that's that's right. That's right, exactly. But now it's glowing pretty bright, so I'm pretty happy. But you just got to come back to it. If you've ever had an idea that you really felt was a good idea
Yeah.
and it's sitting in a drawer somewhere, go open that drawer and maybe there are four or five sitting next to it, and just
Uh,
you know, people want their problem solved. If you've got an
yeah.
idea that solves a problem, that's great. Or even a lot of things on Kickstarter are just for the sake of fun. If you can improve someone's life by helping them have more fun with a new game they've never seen, or with a video series that's educational, or whatever it is you've been thinking of doing, it's absolutely worth pursuing.
And I don't think, I mean, I'm an old guy, 70, and, I guess I'm more than twice as old as you are, but there wasn't an opportunity like this before in our lives. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's brand new, but it's huge. I don't know if it'll last a long time, but
Right.
the gravy train is still rolling, so it's it's a good
You don't
idea.
have to know anything except the passion and have enough sense to get your butt back on the horse when you get thrown off.
That's right, and just spend some time learning the best practices, but nothing's ever perfect. So,
Yeah.
if you feel like you've got it together, 85%.
Ah, that's good enough. Nobody buys perfect anyway.
No,
85%'s a winner. I look at baseball, 300% is a winner for most people. Well, you're a delight. And to find out about the games, Chinese, I mean, I'm trying to learn Mandarin, and you're going to come out Mandarin next year. So I might as
yep,
well start with Japanese, and you go JapaneseTheGame.com. And
yep,
find the
that's it.
two and want you're linked to Kickstarter, so you could find those videos and watch how you made $130,000 just on a 55-second video. That was it, huh?
Yeah, well, I mean, I had to write it up. I did some
Yeah, but I
graphics and things,
mean,
but you can always get friends to help with stuff like
yeah,
that. I mean,
yeah,
nothing I did was overcomplicated,
yeah,
and I'm not a professional, graphic designer or
right.
anything like that.
And you don't
But
play one on TV either.
yeah, if I
Right?
didn't know something, I learned it, as best I could,
Yeah.
and just decided that nothing's perfect, and
Well,
I got it out
I
there.
mean, to me, that this is what this country was built on. People came over here and just
I
figured
agree.
it out and did it, right?
That's right. Nobody's got it all sorted out.
Right,
Nobody.
right. And you don't.
People who look like they've got it all sorted out, they don't have it sorted out.
No, exactly. No, they're just fooling the rest of us so they get paid more. Well, wonderful. We'll talk to you soon, and good luck on the more games and Mandarin and all the other languages you're coming out with. And it's JapaneseTheGame.com. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Matt. Bye.
Bye.